I just watched Ahsoka episode 8, so here is my spoiler review on the episode. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, go watch the episode and basically watch the whole show, and then come back to this video, and here's my spoiler review on episode 8. Okay, now before I review the show as a whole, let's just specifically talk about episode 8 for right now. And now, episode 8. Wow, was this a beautiful finale? Now, yes, it does have its flaws, like the part where Sabine and Ahsoka were talking about the training, and Ezra was involved in that too, but when Sabine and Ahsoka at the beginning of the episode were talking about their training that was last established in episodes 1 and 2, I feel like throughout the show, they needed to, add more of that, training aspect in here. Because what I feel like, for episode 8, all they did was talk about the episodes 1 and 2, and then back to it in episode 8. But I guess episodes 3 to 7, they all take place on, the same day. But since it was, weekly, it felt like a while since they came back to that. And I feel like they just need to add, something, right in the middle, then right on episode 7, to have that really good payoff in episode 8. But I feel like episode 8 still did a good job. It just felt like a month ago. Well, it was a month ago. And then we get to the final showdown. Well, kind of. So Ezra makes it onto the ship where Thrawn's on. We see him as a stormtrooper to Hera, which happens at the end of the episode. Which was a good moment as well, because if you guys haven't seen Rebels, Ezra has the Stormtrooper outfit in one of them as well, which I kind of recognized it from that as well. I feel like we could have expanded upon that scene as well with Ezra. I feel like that interaction was brief, episode ended, and then we're not going to see that again. Well, maybe. Depends. Let's see. We'll find out. But yeah, back to Ahsoka, Sabine. I realized this, the part where the stormtroopers came back to life, instantly I noticed. That's Star Wars Fallen Order, the video game, if you guys haven't played it. The moment that scene happened, I didn't know what these witches were. I know I saw them from somewhere though. Then when that scene happened, I knew exactly. I'm like, this is the video game. The video game is now officially tied in to the Star Wars universe. Before that, it was just known as canon, but now it's officially tied in. You can't make an argument that it's not canon anymore. It's officially pinned in there. It's canon now. But yeah, I realized that moment. I'm like, oh, this is from the game. And then the part where Thrawn escapes from and wins. He escapes. That's his goal. Everyone saw this coming. All these rumors for the show were that Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine would be trapped on the planet and Thrawn escapes. It's almost correct. Thrawn does escape. Ezra also escapes. Ahsoka and Sabine are on the planet. But, yeah, basically the theories were correct. Now, my theory was also that Thrawn would escape. And that's how the Empire in Force Awakens was built. And I think it's leading to that direction. Maybe we need a show in between there. And I have no idea what next Star Wars show we're getting. So that's going to be a surprise. And then the very, very end of this episode. Anakin Skywalker. Hayden Christensen. Very good. He didn't even have to say anything. And he as a ghost, sitting there watching Ahsoka. Because, her arc's completed for this show. Basically, Rebels arc to this arc is not completed. And then we just have this satisfying payoff. And then we have this final look with Anakin, Hayden Christensen, looking there. I had a smile on my face. And I enjoyed that moment right there. So much that I want to just rewind it and watch that exact scene again. But then after that, I sat there watching through the credits, listening to this amazing score. We'll get on that soon. But episode 8 was a fantastic finale. The fight scenes were good like always. That's why I didn't talk about it, because this entire show, the fight scenes have been good. And this was a fantastic finale. Just only one problem, which I addressed at the beginning of episode 8. Now that I have talked about episode 8, I'm going to talk about the entire show and review the entire show. So if you have somehow not seen the entire show and only seen this final episode, spoiler warning. But yeah, as a show as a whole, if you guys notice, if you watched every single one of my Ahsoka reviews, you would have noticed that I started off talking about the live-action version of Ahsoka and saying that I'm not connected to this Ahsoka. It's not the same without Ashley's voice in here. But then, from episode 1 to this episode, you will notice that I slowly stopped talking about it. And by like episode 4 or 5, I didn't talk about it at all. Now, the reason for that is I slowly but surely got connected to the live-action version of Ahsoka. Because slowly but surely, episodes 4 and 5 came along. And 4 and 5 was either just arcs for Ahsoka, and live-action in Clone Wars, and Rebels. But the entire show been Rebels. But you get what I mean. Specifically episode 5 with Hayden Christensen. Basically from there, this Ahsoka, I was more connected to. Now, animated version, still way more connected to. That one's like my Rebels, Clone Wars Ahsoka. Like that one way more. Even met her, but yeah, I like that Ahsoka way more. But the live action one now, I do like her now. But just saying, animated one's still my favorite, but I am now connected to the live action version of Ahsoka. And as a show as a whole, they have really good arcs in here. Like I just talked about Ahsoka, Sabine, both of them together. I talked about all those arcs. And those are the major ones in here. And they really work. Now, Sabine, on the topic of her, yeah, she is not as good as the animated version. Especially the part when she, like, joins the villains. But, I mean, like, now that we're done with the show, I'm more connected to her than that moment. But it's not the same as the animated version of Sabine. Like, there's still some flaws in her, and they don't fully work. Kind of wish this show had one more episode. Like, as an F-log. Or at least made this final episode a little bit longer and expanded upon the Thrawn aspect. Because I kind of want to see where that direction goes before just, like, leaving the show off. But will we get a season 2? I don't think so. I don't think we'll do like another thing like we did with Rebels, have a continuation to that show instead of a season 2. But I can still see a season 2 happening. Ahsoka, I really enjoyed this show. This show had some of the best moments of Star Wars since season 7 of the Clone Wars. It had some really good moments. It had some really good arcs. The music and action scenes in here are amazing. Like, they're amazing. The music just by itself is an A+. It's beautiful. Then we have the fightings, the dueling scenes. It's been so long since we had an actual good lightsaber fight because we haven't gotten a lot of lightsabers recently. We did get Obi-Wan, but I feel like the score and action scenes didn't really mix well with everything that was happening. And the show was like kind of fillerish. But this, on the other hand, every single score that played fit the exact tone and the scene and the mood of the entire thing that was going on screen. The score is beautiful in here. And yeah, this show is really good. Like, I say Mandalorian Season 2 is still my favorite live-action Star Wars show. But then I say it's followed by Ahsoka, then Season 1 of Ahsoka, then Obi-Wan, then Book of Boba Fett, then Andor, then Mandalorian Season 3. I don't think I'm missing a show, but let me know if I did miss a show in that ranking. That's just counting the live action one. If I counted the animated one, 7th season of Clone Wars would be at number 1, and then followed by Rebels, and then the list I just said for live action. But yeah, the show's good. It's like I just showed you my ranking. If you guys, this is a spoiler review, so obviously you guys have seen it, but I obviously do recommend this show. If you're a Ahsoka fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, even though you probably should watch Clone Wars and Rebels to fully feel these arcs going on, it is a really good show. I really liked it. And out of 10, I think I'm going to give this show a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10, not perfect. I did say the flaws in here, but make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, follow my letterboxd called The Color Man Movie, and I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.